Hey friends, okay, we are starting on 2.1 addition and subtraction property rules, or addition properties and subtraction rules. All right, here we go. What does the word sum mean? So I told you I'm a huge word nerd. I love to break words apart and figure out what they mean. And then if you figure out the meaning of parts of the word, you can figure out what the whole word means. They're like little clues to mystery. So what does sum mean? Whoops, I need to go back. Sum means that we're adding, right? When in math, when you're sum, you're putting them together. You're putting things together. All right, so let's talk about the commutative property. So some of the properties of addition are commutative, and the Latin word for communis means shared or community. So for example, or shared or common. So for example, community. So a community, you all have something in common. You all live in the same area. You share something. So we are the Meucci's Crew community. We have that in common. We're all together. You are part of the Ben Franklin community. So you all go to Ben Franklin. COMMU means together or common. So the commutative property of addition means the order in which the numbers are added does not change the sum. So for example, 4 plus 1 equals 5. Also, 1 plus 4 equals 5. It doesn't matter how you group them, or not grouping. It doesn't matter the order that it's presented. The sum is the same, okay? For example, 7 plus 3 equals 10. Well, what does 3 plus 7 equal? Also 10. Great. So then we have the word associate, word nerd. The Latin word socius means partner or friend. So when things are associated, that means they're partnered or they're grouped. So the associative property, we're talking about groupings. The way in which numbers are grouped does not change the sum. So whenever we're talking about the associative property, we're talking about parentheses. And friends, in math, when you see parentheses, the parentheses say, me, 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 solve me first, me, me, me. That's what parentheses say. So for example, in our first example here, 5 plus 2 plus 3, if you group the 5 plus 2 and you do that first, you get 7. So 7 plus 3 equals 10. But if you group it a different way, 5 plus 2 plus 3, and you solve the 2 plus 3 first, you get 5 plus 5 and you still get 10. So the associative property is whenever you see parentheses, the way in which numbers are grouped when added does not change the sum. Now remember, this is only for addition. Then the word identity. We have the identity property. The Latin word idem means same. So for example, identical twins. They're the same, right? Okay, so remember that when we get to the identity property of addition, the sum of any number and 0 is the same number. So the identity property of addition deals with adding a 0. So 8 plus 0 equals 8, and 3 plus 0 equals 3. All right, so I want you can use your whiteboard if you want, or piece of paper, or you can just think it. Commutative, associative, or identity. Which property are we talking about here? And if you're using your whiteboard or writing it down, you can just write C, A, or I. Well, in this case, we're looking at the order doesn't change. The order doesn't change. So that's the commutative property. Did you think commutative? 5 plus 1 equals 6 is the same as 1 plus 5 equals 6. All right, let's look at this one. How about 6 plus 0? Well, that 0 means it's the identity property. Did you think to yourself this is the commutative property because the order doesn't change? You're right. It's also the commutative because there are two equations up there. How about this one? Do me first, me, me. Remember those parentheses? That's the associative property. The associative property. The way in which numbers are grouped in addition does not change the sum. Great. If I'm going too fast, hit pause after you look at the slide to give yourself time to think. All right, so commutative, associative, or identity. Well, 2 plus 8 equals 10. 8 plus 2 equals 10. The order does not change. That's commutative. How about this one? There's a 0. So I automatically think identity, which it is. But you're right, it's also the commutative property because the order doesn't change the sum. Great. How about this one? Commutative. Oh, I see those parentheses. And what do the parentheses say? Me. Solve me first. And we know that those are groupings, and that's the associative property of addition. Commutative, great. Associative. How about this one? There's a 0, so that means identity, but also the order doesn't change. So this one's also commutative. Do you see the parentheses? Do you see them? You're right. So the grouping doesn't change the sum. So this is the associative property. How about this one? Ms. Schumacher's here. This is the identity because it's a 0, but also the commutative because the order didn't change the sum. All right, friends, open your math book to page 62. And if you're not there yet, go ahead and hit pause. And bye, Ms. Schumacher. She just needed to come in and get something. And if you're not there yet, hit pause and then hit play when you come back to me. All right. Here we go. Let's solve these together. Let's pick to do, ooh, this is a pretty blue. Okay. Find each unknown. Well, this is what they're calling my unknown, this box, okay? Draw a line to identify the property or rule used. Okay, so first of all, let me solve unknown equals. Well, 19 minus something equals 19. Yeah, 19 minus 0 equals 19. And I see it's a 0, so that must be, when you subtract, that's the 0, subtraction. When you subtract 0 from any number, the result is the number. Okay. Yeah. How about this one, number 2? Oh, I see those parentheses. Let's solve first. So they want me to solve for this unknown, but if the two sides are equal, that means whatever's over here must also be over here. So what is over here that is not over here? Well, I have a 5 and a 5 and a 2 and a 2. I'm missing the 9. So this box, this unknown must equal 9. Okay? And we know that when there are parentheses involved, that is the associative property. Great. All right, 74 plus 68 equals something plus 74. Well, what is this unknown? Well, if they're equal, right, the two sides have to be the same. So if the 74 is already here, 74 is on this side, what do I have to put here? I have to put the 68 here so that they will be equal. So this unknown equals 68. And I know that that is the commutative property because the order doesn't change the sum. All right, you've got it, my friends. So now that is the end of our group lesson. Remember that if you are in the Ready group, you're going to join the live learning with me and we'll work through your workbook pages together. If you feel like you got this, you're in the Steady group, you can go do your workbook pages by yourself. Remember, this assignment is in Schoology, so you can go to Schoology and work through it. Or see this posted. You still have to do it in your math book. And then the Go group, your assignment is also this page number, these page numbers and these numbers, but also that's posted in Schoology. Remember to make sure at 5 minutes left of math, 1:55, you go back into Schoology and do your exit ticket. If you finish early, you can do Education Galaxy, Sumdog, or the Math Challenge on our Schoology page. Join me if you need some help or you just want to hang. That's our math for today, friends. I will talk to you soon.